questions through Facebook Live as well. In addition to that, after the stream, we will download it and upload it to our YouTube channel so you're able to get that information. In preparation also for this meeting, each candidate will have an opening statement, and we ask them to provide a 30-second opening statement. Katie has agreed to be our timekeeper, so she'll be holding up the color to reflect the time that they have for today's meeting, just so that we have enough time to have good, solid dialogue and also promote, healthy collaboration as well. Deanna will be joining us, who is our board chair, to help facilitate this discussion, and I'm also here to help support as well. So as we get started, we're going to go ahead and start with your opening statement. There is on mic. We'll have mics so you can share with one another, and you can provide that opening statement. So in District 3, we have Dr. Shayna Charles. She's unfortunately not able today to attend due to a conflict of schedule. We all in District 3 are Arnell and John. We'll start with Arnell, if you can share your prepared statement, and then
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity for being collaborative. My name is Arnell Dina, and I'm running for Fullerton City Council District 3 because our side of town needs an experienced leader who understands what our neighborhoods need. My family immigrated from the Philippines to Fullerton over 40 years ago. So my favorite memories, having grown up here, are playing for the East Fullerton Little League in Chapman Park and being part of Cub Scout Troop 1740 out of St. Joseph's. I've served on 6 commissions in the last 10 years. I'm currently the Vice Chair of the Fullerton Planning Commission, a former Economic Development Commissioner, Infrastructure Commissioner, and Chair of the Water Rate Dispute Panel. I'm also a business owner and nonprofit development director, so nonprofits are at my heart.
thank you. Bye.
Hello, I'm Johnny Barra. I'm running for District 3. I've been in Fullerton, I think, almost 60 years. I went to Woodcrest Elementary School, Nicholas Junior High School, went to Anaheim High School. Don't get mad at me. I wanted to go play football for a 480. And Fullerton College and Kelsey Fullerton. I've been in my business for, 40 years now, on the corner of Valencia and Lemon. And my roots are here. My properties are here. And I really want to be your district to be represented. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to go to District 5, and we will start with Ahmad, and then following Ahmad, we'll have Oscar, and then Tony.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the collaborative for hosting this. I think it's great to be amongst friends. My name is Ahmad Zara. I'm your current council member representing District 5. I'm an immigrant, and it has been the greatest honor to serve the district that I've called home for the last 21 years. I live in the heart of District 5 and have never moved in this time. I've worked on a lot of issues, from infrastructure to homelessness to rent assistance and more. I am a renter, so I understand those issues. But I'll be looking forward to this debate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. My name is Oscar Valadez. I'm running for Fullerton City Council District 5 because we deserve a homegrown leader that listens and works with everyone. My parents immigrated to Fullerton in the 60s and had 8 children. I was raised on Trislo, went to school at St. Mary's, which is around the corner, and graduated from Stanford as a first-generation college student. I'm a proud father of 2 young boys, Diego and Santiago, and a husband to my loving wife, Emma, who has been working as a teacher and counselor at LA Unified for 25 years. I'm proud to have spent my career advancing the greater good, and as your next council member, I hope to work with everyone.
Hello, my name is Tony Castro. I'm the non-corporate, pro-union, progressive Democrat for Fullerton City Council. I refuse corporate money for my campaign so I can be free to fight for the voters, so I can be free to deliver my promises, and so that I will not have my hands tied and owe anyone favors. And my promise to Fullerton is that I will never accept corporate donations or money from special interest lobbyists for my campaign, because I want to get elected for the right reasons and fight for the people. I was a former co-coordinator for Rescue Education California and for Carpenters Union Local 803. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony. Appreciate it. All right. see their different positions. We also have in front of you the candidate statements that were filed on your behalf, the QR code. We're doing all QR code now with the last 2 years. We're very familiar. So feel free to scan that. You'll be able to see their actual statements in the file. All right, so we're going to start off our discussion. There are a couple of questions that we asked from our Next Gen Youth Empowerment. Beth Bergman is going to join me in asking a couple of questions on behalf of this subcommittee group. Sure.
I'll come over here just because it might be easier for everyone to hear. Thank you all for coming. We're honored to have you and looking forward to your answers. I am representing the Next Gen Youth Empowerment Group subcommittee for the collaborative. So we have a couple of questions to ask you. Do we know which order they're going to go in?
Let's go down.
Okay.
Let's go down.
Okay, perfect. So our first question is, what direction would you provide city staff in providing services for at-risk youth? So we'll start with John.
Thank you very much. I believe that we need to unlock school grounds after school for kids to go and play, and also for programs. We have a lot of empty buildings that are part of the schools. You know, over here in Maple School, there's an empty building that was used for, I believe, the elderly, and now that's vacant for years. And I think we could have a nice mentor program for at-risk youth. Also, they were asking if I would reprioritize city budget for at-risk youth. I can't promise that because my promises are to get more funds for our road and infrastructure and for public safety. There are programs needed though for Next Gen Youth. I actually have Next Gen Youth come and work for me. There could be a program with work for pay, a youth sports for those who can't pay should be free or at a minimum cost. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The direction I would provide to city staff I would ask city staff to come up with a strategy to provide additional services and to collaborate with our community organizations. I would be in favor of creating a Youth and Families Commission committee to work on issues, events, collaboration, and helping find additional funding to implement these programs. Similar to CDBG, but with a mandate of finding out the best practices to maximize our dollars to serve the community.
Thank you. Well, we've already gave direction to staff to start a youth commission, and that is in process. I've also taken taken on internship, and we have been working and trying to work with our college and Cal State Fullerton to bring internship. And we have engaged our nonprofits through various ways, including myself personally working with each of the nonprofits here. I think you're all familiar with my work. But the most important thing is that we need to provide opportunities, economic opportunities for our youth so that they have a future. And that is about economic development. We need to bring jobs into our area. We need to create opportunities through proper economic development. And that is why I had already put in place and advocated to have strict economic development as part of our strategic plan in our city. And I did that from year one. And we created an economic development position that now has been serving our city for 4 years.
I think that we need to adopt the program that they use in Cambridge, England, where they have at-risk youth programs open till 10 p.m. at night on the weekdays and 2 a.m. on the weekends to keep kids out of trouble and keep them occupied with positive activities and positive ideas. We need to pay more attention to our youth. I would work to provide more after-school programs for students, especially at-risk youth. This type of mentoring that they used in Cambridge, England has been very successful in keeping kids off the streets and occupying their time with positive activities. We're competing with peers, friends, and family members who might be leading some kids in the wrong direction. And this program is directed towards kids that have been influenced by gangs or negative role models. I will continue focusing on teaching our youth about becoming leaders in the community and teaching them to stay out of gangs and off drugs, and teach them how to become prestigious, prominent members of the community.
I would ask our staff to review and compare effective programs in other cities, as well as host a series of listening sessions open to all via Zoom and available in Spanish and Korean. We could invite residents, experts, CDOs, CDBG applicants, and representatives from our school districts. We should especially welcome the knowledge from our education community. For example, Dr. Vicki Calhoun built her career on working with at-risk youth. Parents and school employees all work together to make Nicholas Junior High a safer learning environment. And finally, I'll lean on all of you, our real experts and leaders here in Fullerton.
Thank you. Oh, you can hold that?
Or-
Yeah, we'll just hold it right there. We're
We're gonna start.
We're gonna start, we're gonna go down.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you. Can you guys hear? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so we have one more for you from our committee. How might you reprioritize the city budget to ensure that preventive programs are available for our at-risk youth? Reprioritizing the budget, maybe.
I want Fullertonians to know that my values are clear. We all deserve a budget that prioritizes public spending on advancing equity that helps vulnerable children, seniors, mothers, and community members at risk. As a New York Times article has discussed recently, an expanded safety net since 1993 has reduced child poverty throughout the U.S. by 59%, which means we need to target additional state and federal aid to assist us on this mission.
I would make preventive programs a priority in the citywide budget. In 2019, Fullerton had a $31 million surplus. Today, it's only $5 million surplus, and projected to be at $1 million surplus in 2023. I would investigate waste and slush funds to help pay for these programs.
As a medical doctor, I know the importance of preventative measures in our community. That's why we have allocated CDBG funds to many organizations, including the collaborative here for its at-risk youth programs. We also need to make sure that we're prioritizing jobs and economic activities in our city, because opportunity, that is what we need to be creating for people, and especially for our youth. Educational opportunities, creating the proper environments of which our youth are living in, quality of life and living conditions are absolutely important to be able to have those opportunities and for our youth to succeed. The budget needs to be reflective of the needs in our community. I have said that publicly, and I have fought for that, and we have fought for so many programs of this, and I will continue to do so. Thank you.
How I would reprioritize the city budget to ensure that preventive programs are available for at-risk youth. As the only candidate that I'm aware of that has actually been a direct service provider, I've served as an HIV counselor. I've done teen pregnancy prevention programs. I've been a grant writer. I've been a grant maker. I've been on both sides of trying to find funding for these valuable community programs. I think that bringing my experience to City Council would actually help us in really trying to figure out how we can achieve these grants, how we can achieve these community public-private partnerships to achieve our goals as individual programs, but also as a community. I would want to work with county and state and federal partners to find additional funding so that we can support inclusive and equitable preventive programs. My experience having been on the front lines, having taught at-risk youth, having been responsible for a multi-million-dollar program, I feel like I would probably be the best suited to address these issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At-risk youth. I believe that there's a lot of at-risk youth in my neighborhood, corner Valencia and Lemon, not so much in District 3 where I live. But since I'm there all the time, Lisette was an at-risk youth. And around 17 years old, I took her into the office. We started to train her. Now she's a notary. She's my secretary treasurer, and she's getting a real estate license here soon. So you can turn it around, and but you have to give some mentorship, I believe, and that's why we need these centers open, and we need mentors in there working for, I don't know what type of salary we would pay them, but you know, that also has to be seen by cooperation with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. So I'm going to introduce Leanna. She's going to facilitate the discussion as well.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Leanna Fercucci, and I'm the board chair of the Fullerton Collaborative. Next, I do have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Helene Morris, who represents the Fullerton School District in our board. She'll be asking our next questions. Thank you, Dr. Morris.
Thank you so much. And do we know which candidate is starting first?
We're going to start with now the second, Arnell.
Arnell? Okay, all right.
Oh, no, you're gonna go with me and with me first, because I answered the last question.
I just want to make sure it's fair.
Is that the way you want to do it?
Whatever's fair.
I'm just here to ask a question. You guys work it out.
Start with Arnell.
All right, we ready? Okay. So the questions I'm asking, I have two, and they're on behalf of the Early Childhood Subcommittee. So question 1, in District 5, there are census tracts where less than 30% of children are ready for kindergarten. And in District 3, there are census tracts where less than 40% of children are ready for kindergarten. What role do you see the city playing in supporting policies and programs that support children who are not yet ready for kindergarten? What types of policies and programs would you support?
Thank you for the question. I support pre-K programs with city support and implemented by community organizations. The role I see for the city, and I was just looking at this on the city website earlier today. We don't have barely any, if any city programs that helps encourage learning amongst pre-K. I would look at trying to institute cooking and baking programs, dance programs, music, photography, pottery, and of course reading and tutoring to be made available by the city through our city services. And if anything, that would assist all of you in trying to address the lack of knowledge, the lack of interest within the city for learning. The more opportunities that we have as a city, the more opportunities that we can provide as a city on top of what all of you do, the more students will get engaged early in reading and all those different programs that I just mentioned.
Time.
Thank you.
I have been very engaged with the school district, and we will continue engaging the school district to understand, not only to cooperate on these issues, but to understand also the root cause of them. And we do have a very high poverty rate in the south side and in District 3 and throughout the city as well. This is, we are at critical levels, and so access to educational programs, access to resources, and access to opportunities. That is what we need to be focusing on. In addition to providing after-school programming that we can coordinate and make sure that they are focused enough to tackle these particular issues. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: clean parks, maintenance. We have a shortage of staff, so we need to invest in those areas that help make sure that the parents have abilities to take their kids and provide them some sort of recreational and activities as well.
We need to give parents to newborn children at least 15 months off so that they can, with 90% paid. I support the program that they're currently using in Finland, Germany, Denmark, and they actually give 15 months off to parents to time off from work so they can spend time with their newborn, hold the baby, read to the baby, talk to the babies, sing to the babies. along with pre-kindergarten programs. But if we can adopt this program that they're using successfully, then we can help our youth reach their full potential, and so that they can become prominent, prestigious members of the community and become competitive and educated workforce, and we can be competitive in the global economy. But I think that we need to spend more children. I would work closely with the state legislature and our congresspersons so that we can bring this policy forward. And studies have shown that when the parents read and they actually talk to the children at an early age, they are more prepared for kindergarten. Thank you.
Thank you for this question. This question is personally important to me as a father. Students are struggling in later years because housing insecurity is impacting them in their early years. Many District 5 families spend over 2/3 of their income on rent alone and are pushed into working 2 or 3 jobs at minimum wage just to make ends meet. I would support culturally adept child care programs and resources that improve outcomes for kindergarten readiness. However, at the root cause of low kindergarten readiness is the lack of affordable housing and rising rents, and we must act on that now.
Yes, he's got
John
it.
needs to answer the question.
Thank you. The COVID restrictions have caused our children to lag behind. They lost 2 years in many school districts of learning. Like I said, we need to open up the facilities in Fullerton for mentor programs, for places that kids can go study. The libraries have to be open. We need to improve all the resources for them. I think parent training too. I don't know how good of a job our education system is doing on parent training. They need to know how to train their children. Why do some families have 2 lawyers in there and a doctor, and then we have some that just barely graduated from high school? It's economics, we know that. But there's also people from neighborhoods that are impoverished that end up having kids that are at Harvard and so forth. And I've seen them from Fullerton High School, and I've seen them from my high school, and the different high schools that I know, and they're not crying in their, they're not crying about it. They just get out and work.
We're going to start off the next question. John?
Oh,
Let's go back.
should go, yeah, it should go on. We want to go.
All right, our next question, much shorter. In what ways could the city and school districts work collaboratively to improve education outcomes?
So again, we have been working with the school district on many issues, such as our joint use agreement with the park and making sure the parks are clean and maintained. We also are working with them on safety to make sure that we have proper crossing guards and we have proper crossing spaces in safe neighborhood around the school. In addition to assigning resource officers from our police department to our school to make sure that there is an engagement there with our youth. I'd love to see us push more on some of these programs and joint programs. I've already been talking with our chief about and engaging our school district on drug prevention programs, which is in the process right now, and I'm hoping that could also happen in the near future. We do have to look at also, again, the sources. The school districts is a great resource of providing information, and those things will help us provide good policy.
I believe we need more programs like ROP, a Regional Opportunity Program, where the business community, the city, and the school district work together and encourages the business community to line curriculum and job training programs. For example, I myself attended ROP in high school, and it was for automotive career. And I did my internship, and then as soon as I had turned old enough, 15, to get my work permit, I got a job lined up from ROP. Actually got a job with Ed Dickens Union 76, and they had a mechanic garage there. Then I went to, from ROP, they prepared me with this internship. I'm sorry, whoops. So they also aligned me with this internship that got me the job that got me into the T10 Toyota Technical Education Network at Cypress College that I graduated from, and then eventually got hired by Toyota as an engine repair machinist, and then eventually went back to school for other things. But we need more programs like the ROP, Regional Opportunity Program, and that way it'll help the community and the business community and the school district work together. Thank you.
Collaboration requires good communication. I would promote a summit between city and school district staff to see where we can assist each other on meeting our children's needs. Together, we can expand opportunities for student success and lifelong learning.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Improving the resources. That's the crutch of all this, the crux of all this. And we need to reopen some of those facilities for our children. We need, like I said, mentor programs. We need free computers. We need free internet for our kids so that they don't have to struggle with people that can't pay for internet. Internet's expensive, you know, so I'd like to see that. We could team up with Spectrum, whoever does free internet, or can give us that. They did give it to us during the COVID restricted times. There was various children that did get internet paid for by Spectrum. And this is the kind of programs that we need to try to get some of the privates involved too. Not all the work has to be for from the nonprofits. Okay, you guys do enough.
In Fullerton, I can envision the creation of a city, district, and community collaborative effort to address specific issues. For example, the need for high-speed internet access and its recent implementation, Sci-Fi, could have been a priority where the resources and stakeholders could have been brought together throughout the city, not just in higher income areas, but citywide. For example, in a city like San Jose, the mayor's office created a collaborative comprised of school district superintendents, the mayor, council members, and city administration, with a specific goal to address issues such as facility use, digital infrastructure, digital literacy, preschool, and out-of-school learning, and status reports. Especially in District 3, with college and career readiness being vital, we need to develop targeted programs that increase the rates of graduation, college admission, and workforce residence for students. These ideas just scratch the surface, but if the city is open to it, we need to develop solid, collaborative partnerships to address these vital issues.
Okay, thank you so much. And next, representing our homelessness task force is Jason Phillips.
Hi, my name's Jason Phillips. Just right at the beginning, I want to invite you. We have a homelessness subcommittee that meets once a month. We just started up again, and we're the second Wednesday of every month up near St. Jude at what's going to be the Hope Center, and that'll be from 1 to 2:30. We're working on education, advocacy, and coordination. And this meeting on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about coordinated efforts around homelessness. So let me start with Tony. The question is what strategies would you support to increase affordable housing in Fullerton? And maybe start with whether you do support permanent supportive housing or affordable housing.
I do support affordable housing. I believe that Fullerton needs to implement rent control. Other cities in California are using it successfully. Oakland, San Francisco, Santa Ana just applied their rent control policy. Without rent control, our rents are just going to be going out of control. They're skyrocketing, and with higher rents, it's just going to lead to more homelessness and more poverty and more crime. So I'm put my second issue on my platform is rent control. Right after ending homelessness with Housing First. My own rent, I live down here on Commonwealth by State College, and my own rent for one bedroom is $1,800 a month. In October, after October, it's going up to $2,300 a month. And that's only because I've been there for over 10 years. The other neighbors that are there less than 10 years, they're actually going up to $2,500 a month. And this is ridiculous. We can do better than this. I think that we need to implement a rent control policy in the city of Fullerton. Thank you.
We need to streamline our permitting process and lower costs of building ADUs by introducing pre-approved floor plans. I would also increase affordable housing density bonuses and eliminate unnecessary discretionary barriers so that we can put a mark at this problem.
Your name is Oscar, right? Oscar?
Yes.
Oscar. Yeah, thank you, Oscar. We're in line, Oscar and I. So I guess we're going to be your city councilman. State law is changing and allowing more flexible zoning, allowing ADUs for expanding families. The city can streamline the process, minimizing red tape for more units, but in keeping with building codes. We don't want haphazard housing out there either, but we do need more housing. There's no doubt about it. But I am not for rent control.
So I guess the three of us aren't going to be on the same council. Although I do agree with both, I do have a lot of agreement with all of my colleagues up here. I would definitely be in favor of building more ADUs. We definitely have a lot of houses and places where we can put them, and I would definitely be in favor of that. Again, I would also be in favor of converting our current unused office space to residential mixed development like they're doing at Brigham Mall right now. I would, like Oscar, definitely increase density housing bonuses and try to work with the developers to get the most benefits for our city that we can in every single development. And I've been working on those projects as a planning commissioner for at least the last year. And if they can fix Euclid and Rosecrans and they can put in a new bus stop, then definitely those are the kind of benefits that I would be helping our city negotiate for. And finally, I would allow for a wider variety of housing options, micro-housing, different ideas when it comes to making housing available to those who can afford it would be part of my position. Thank you.
So I want to invite everyone to the next council meeting when we're going to be discussing our housing element. That is when we're going to be talking about where to have affordable housing in our new zoning of our city based on the new mandates by the state to build 13,209 units over the next 8 years. Now, we have to make sure that we engage the community to have this housing element be successful, and making sure that we are including as many affordable units. Our last housing element did not meet enough. We just built more market rates and didn't do enough on the affordable side. So we have to do better this time, and this is the time to do it next meeting. I also have agendized already a discussion on inclusionary zoning and looking at ways to work with developers to have more affordable housing within units within their market rate units. And we zeroed down the cost for ADUs completely, so that is an easier process. Thank you.
The next question is, how would you use your position to assist communities and residents in accepting permanent supportive housing and shelters in their neighborhood? Are you supportive of permanent supportive housing? And then what do you think a way forward with that would be?
Of course. As a council member and housing provider, I would focus on meeting people where they are at and sharing stories of success from already well-established permanent supportive housing like Pathways of Hope. And I would also say, like Mr. Rogers, I would encourage residents to be good neighbors and welcome them to our city.
Thank you, Oscar. Question 2. How would you use your position to assist communities, residents in accepting permanent supportive housing and shelters in their neighborhoods? no one that I know of will accept or support homeless shelters in their neighborhoods. I was asking to see if I could do something like that to help, and I was told by the police liaison, no, don't even think about it, John, okay? I will go back to the drawing board and see if I could do something like that. I do have a perfect location for one, and I will get back with you on that. And I believe you want shelters in transportation corridors, industrial, commercial areas. I saw one in Phoenix, a shelter that had a cafeteria, like a St. John Vianney, like for clothing and supplies and donations, and beds with nice bathrooms. And it was at the edge of an industrial center complex near railroad transportation corridor in Phoenix, Arizona. It was state of the art, wonderful. You can do it.
So to short answer your question, yes, I am in support of permanent supportive housing. I think that the city and county have put forward a very high, ambitious housing mandate for the cities. But I will work with state and community and stakeholders to find equitable solutions to our housing needs. I think that if we increase our availability for housing, ADUs, mixed use, density bonuses, and wider housing options, then I think that we can go a long way to address the problem, but we need to talk to not only the city and county and Fed, but also to our neighbors to see what we can be doing more, and we can always be doing more to help the homeless situation.
In my first 2 years alone, we approved 3 navigation centers. 3. 2 regional, we partnered with multiple cities in the North Spa, and we have beds there. These are shelters with services on the path to housing. And then we created one here in Fullerton that has also recuperative care. We couldn't do this without the help of our community, and I want to give a shout out to the Tribe Parish because they have really rallied people to our council meetings to be able to approve these. Supportive housing is crucial, but we need to make sure that we are also outreaching and creating a transparency in the process so that folks in our community understand the need, understand how the process is, and know that the folks who are going to live there are just like us. We're just neighbors. Thank you.
Finland, the country of Finland, has 0 homelessness. Utah has adopted a similar model. I want to adopt the model that Utah is using. Housing first. Ending homelessness with housing first. That means that we permanently house the homeless first, and then we address substance abuse issues and mental health issues. A lot of our homeless people are veterans. They deserve better than this. We need to pay attention to them, and we need to work close. I will work closely with the state legislature and Congress because we can't just rent every available house in Fullerton to put homeless people. We can't just turn Fullerton into the homeless place to go. So we would have to make it a statewide policy, and I would work closely with the state legislature and Congress to help pass a policy. And since I refuse money from corporate lobbyists for my campaign, I'm free to actually deliver what I'm promising. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it works for me.
It might be that minute. Oh, man. All right. Next we have Peter Hernandez. He is the co-chair of our Move More, Eat Healthy initiative here in the city under St. Jude Hospital. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. So first off, we do want to extend out an invitation to our next Move More, Eat Healthy subcommittee meeting, which occurs every 4th Wednesday of the month from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. If you're interested in participating, please reach out for our contact info after the meeting. But our first question on behalf of the subcommittee is, in Fullerton school districts, which includes all of them, over 60% of adults and over 30% of children are overweight or obese. While Fullerton has achieved Fit City designation, there are significant steps that the city can take to create healthier infrastructure, create healthier policy, healthier environments, what are some strategies that you would support for the city that could enhance policies and the built-in environment to help make the healthier choice the easy choice? And do you have any projects in mind that can help, or any you're currently working on?
So we have an active transportation plan that we just implemented, and I'm hoping that we can get some of that in place as we move forward. We need to make sure that we have safe routes to school. We need to make sure that we have bike safety, walkable designs in our as we move forward with planning new developments, and we need to make sure that our parks are maintained and clean and safe. We also, one of the projects that I have is making sure that we have a special needs all-inclusive playground, which is something that our city does not have. And as we renovate some of the new parks, Independence Park has been chosen for that site, and I'm looking forward to having that implemented there. There are so many things that we can do, and with us together we can collaborate to find even more innovative ideas to be able to achieve this.
I definitely support encouraging residents to be more physically active, bring more funding for parks and recreation. The community center is a great resource. We have a swimming pool there, heated pool indoor. So I would work in city council to provide more activities and open up the community center for more programs, and also a system that will change the environment, that will reduce obesity in low-income communities. So I really believe strongly in bringing funding, not just from the Fullerton City Council budget, the citywide budget, but again, working closely with the state legislature and Congress to bring funding so that we can open up more than just one community center, and that way we can have more activities available that are for free for the community, our voters and people that live in the city of Fullerton.
We need to implement what limited money that we have to renovate and create more open space for our residents. My first step is to prioritize the opening of Union Pacific Park to the public. It doesn't make sense that someone would want to make it into an event center, from which limits our access to this public resource. Growing up in Trislo, I would have loved having this park available to play at with my brothers and sisters.
We need to increase our infrastructure improvement programs. Bike trails and improvements, schoolyards, hiking trails, and the Union Pacific Railroad line are prime for exercise and improvement. We could do a lot with those resources, and you see a lot of it being implemented over in Bray. I see people walking all the time over off Imperial. So I think that if we improve our walking trails and our biking trails and so forth, they will be used by our kids.
A good portion of District 3 is also such a Valadez Unified School District. Pretty much like almost half of our students go to El Dorado, Valencia, Tuffrey. One of the things that I believe that we really need to look at in the Northeast, District 3, is, as my colleague said, not only maintaining parks and open space, but looking at maintenance in a lot of these parks. I've been knocking at doors and I've been hearing concerns around the safety in Pearl Park. Gilman Park, we fixed one bridge, but we still have 3 others that we need to prioritize. Craig Park and Tri-City. Tri-City is a collaboration between the county and 3 different cities. So what a lot of people don't realize is that the northeast of Fullerton is covered almost by the borderline of 3 separate cities, Brea, Yorba Linda, and Placentia. So I would hope that our neighbors who benefit from our parks as much as we do can kick in some funding to help us maintain our open space. Thank you.
Next question.
Okay.
One more question. So everyone mentioned several different health and wellness project initiatives that you have in mind and implementing them in the city of Fullerton. How do you plan on working directly with the Fullerton Collaborative Move More Healthy Subcommittee to help and support improving the public health in the city of Fullerton, and also in working with you in collaboration to make these projects possible?
It's going to take more than just the city funding. Again, we're going to have to reach out to the state legislature and Congress to help bring some funding. And so we're going to have to, I was talking before about our community centers. Some of us talked about parks, recreation. And so I want to bring a healthier Fullerton by spending more money and asking the state and the federal level to bring more funding so we can have more things like skate parks. We got a good skate park at the Independence Park. We got a little skate park over here at Woodcrest. I think that by bringing funding for more parks, more recreation, then that would help bring a healthier Fullerton, the residents of Fullerton, the children, and that way we can actually have some activities to go and engage in and enjoy. So I would bring funding for not just parks and skate parks, but other recreational activities, maybe some more bike lanes, trying to maybe set up some kind of something with the community center and maybe some kind of other activities also. Thank you.
I will meet with the subcommittee and listen to their proposals so that I can be a bridge with our city staff in order to implement these effective policies.
Thank you.
First of all, too, I wanted to say that as far as public health is concerned, I was 260 pounds right there. And I've lost like 65 pounds. And it's been by diet, watching myself, and exercising 5 miles a day. I believe that our charitable committees here, we could use the city channel for your advertising. I'm not sure if we could or not, but I'd like to see the city open their channel 3 to the people that need donations and that are non-profits and so forth. You know, I just see it rewinding over and over, and it's a waste. You know, and you know, how long can you see, you know, Johnny Barra up there? You know, I think that it should be used for everyone to be able to advertise on that.
How I would work with your subcommittee is that I would find out from you and the experts what the needs are in my district. I think for me, it's all about communication, collaboration, and cooperation with all the different stakeholders within the community. 2 issues that I didn't get a chance to mention in the last question was that there's definitely in District 3 a lack of swim lessons, and I think that between Cal State Fullerton, the other school district, and Fullerton, we could try to find a way to bring swim lessons to District 3. In addition, talking about where the needs are on the northeast side of town in terms of proper groceries, not just approving fast food restaurants, although that does add to revenue, that we definitely need to see which groceries and which opportunities can we bring to the east side of town. And that would be part of how I would promote healthy living. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, for that question. And we have been working together for a while now, and I've worked. I think I've been one of the most engaged council members, and everybody knows I'm out there. Work with the Center for Healthy Neighborhoods. Work with a lot of our community partners, and as a result of that, we got that feedback, whether it's on safety issues. We were able to open Pearl Park, a new park in our city. We were able to push and renovate Valencia Park. Now we're pushing to get Independence Park, and all because we have collaborated We also need to expand our ability to do corporate partnerships as well, and I have been actively engaging to bring those partners into the loop and provide more funding for our NGOs and for our city programs. It is, as a result of also our engagement, we were able to do a rental assistance program that I pushed for seniors and for in mobile parks and for veterans citywide, and made sure that we have a code enforcement program that is proactive and making sure that there's quality of life in the apartments out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. We appreciate that. And for our final question, representing our entire board, is David D. Leon, a resident and a newer board member.
Again, thank you for taking the time to be here. The questions and answers you've given are really important to the community. As you know, we have a 5-member city council, and it requires 3 votes to support any action. How do you plan to collaborate with the other city council members to serve the better good of the community?
Thank you for the question, David. For Oscar.
I will offer a fresh voice where I will focus on building consensus and pulling the council together to help solve the pressing problems that we face today. To be an effective council member, I need to be respectful to fellow members, staff, and the public. Being honest and of good character are the foundations of building trust that will help foster getting results for Fullerton. As your council member, I am committed to listening to everyone.
Thank you very much. Cooperation amongst everyone is always important, and to hear everybody's point of view as far as their needs are concerned are very important. And we do need to have panels that would allow that to take place, so we know what your needs are. You know, what is the amount of money that is needed for homeless in Fullerton? What's the amount of money? What's our targets? I don't know our targets, but I certainly am behind everyone here, and my family plans to donate to 3 places today. Okay, so that's how much I'm behind you. Thank you.
As I was about to say before, I will work generously to communicate with my council colleagues. Through communication comes compromise, and through compromise we can create policies that help move the city forward. But above all, like my colleagues up here on the stage, I pledge to listen. In District 3, there hasn't been a town hall or community meeting since before COVID, to my knowledge. We've had grand openings, we've had other community events, but we haven't actually had a community dialogue between either the council or the city and a lot of the residents. One of my pledges is to actually hold that town hall, even as I campaign over the next couple of weeks. For me, it's all about cooperation. We need to make sure that every voice is heard, every viewpoint is listened to, every idea shouldn't be discounted, and that's how I hope to be as a council member. Cooperative, communicative, and collaborative. Thank you.
I've been one of the most engaged council members, and I've hosted over 150 community meetings, town halls, and listened to our community and their needs. I have worked with this council despite sometimes the hard times and the differences that we've had. There's no doubt about that. But we have had wins, and we have voted together on important matters as well. But I want you to know that I was elected to represent our constituents, and I will hold that to my heart. That is what I am supposed to do, and be faithful with my votes to the constituents I represent. We see so many council members come and they make promises, but then they make backroom deals just to make friends and go back on their promises. That is not what I'm here for. I will hold this council accountable when needed, and I will make sure I am voting by conscience based on my best abilities to represent the district that voted for me and elected me.
When the people lead, the leaders will follow. I am that person to lead the Fullerton City Council. And I believe that Fullerton City Council needs bold, fresh, new ideas. Not just bold, fresh, new ideas, but progressive ideas. So I would take the initiative and I would lead the Fullerton City Council to these new progressive ideas that I have for Fullerton, the city of Fullerton. And if they don't share the same ideas that I share for our vision, our future's vision of Fullerton, then I would take the means of direct democracy and write my own initiative and get the signatures and pay the Secretary of State and hold a special election and let the voters decide to see what they actually want, and not what the Fullerton City Council wants for the people, but for the people to show Fullerton City Council what the people want for the city of Fullerton. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we are just about out of time, but we have one question from our audience that could literally just be a quick yes or no, and we'll pass the mic. Do you support keeping Fullerton's fire department or changing to Orange County Fire Authority?
We did a whole study session on this. It's not a yes or no answer.
Support or not?
I would have to look into more into this. I don't have an answer right now, but I am going to get back to you guys on this, and you can check out my update on my website. Just look me up, Tony Castro, for City Council.
I also concur on that. Very complicated situation, so can I go ahead and pass it?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. I fully support the fire department and our police department. And I'd like to see them stay, but we have budget restraints, so we have to look at that. But I've had good luck with every one of them. Okay, thank you.
So much like my colleagues, I'm almost gonna want to say get back to me, but I will say is this: I think for me it's promises made, promises kept, and if we negotiated a good contract with our public services, then we should hold ourselves to those promises. Now, as far as OC Fire Authority is concerned, I definitely do need to study that a lot more. I sat through the city council meeting last week, and I can only imagine a lot, but I didn't understand it after sitting through almost 3 hours, and I know it does need to be studied. So for me, it's promises made, promises kept would be my approach. Thank you.
Well, I did attend the council meeting, and I'm disappointed that folks haven't. I encourage you to watch this. We have been debating this for a year, and anyone who is going to make decisions on this in the future, or anything in the future, needs to at least have had attended some of our meetings. But here's the truth. We do not have a sustainable department right now. We don't. And anyone who tells you that we are able to is, again, not watching council meetings and budget meetings. We need to face the hard truth. Our firefighters are overworked, and our safety is at risk. I will not put the safety of our residents at risk, especially when we have high density areas like the areas I represent. Priority for me is public safety. That is the #1 job of a government, and we will achieve that however it can. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will now be doing our closing remarks, and we could just start with our next candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Fullerton, for this opportunity to speak at this conference, at this forum. Thank you very much. And again, my name is Tony Castro, and I'm not on the city council, but I do wish to represent my district. I believe that I'm the best person to represent my district, and I refuse corporate money. I can't stress that enough. I will never accept money from corporations or corporate lobbyists because that's the only way that I can truly be your voice and help you. Political studies show that once a candidate accepts money from corporate lobbyists, they vote in the interest of that corporate lobbyist 80% of the time. And I'm not trying to get elected to do just the same old, same old. I think that we need some change. Thank you.
Thank you all for being so engaged in the issues that affect our homes and our family. My name is Oscar Valadez, and I'm asking you to vote Valadez, your first and best choice on the ballot for City Council. We deserve better, and I'm committed to bringing our voices back to City Hall. Feel free to contact me directly and visit my website, oscarforfolger.com. Thank you.
First of all, I know all the council members personally. I've lived in Fullerton nearly 60 years, and I have owned a business in Fullerton for 40 years. I have dealt with the city on many occasions. I am a fluent Spanish speaker, si hablo español, mi negocio 70% con la gente latina. I will be a voice for all of Fullerton. And I believe in relief for the homeless, the at-risk youth, and we're putting our money where our mouth is. My wife and I, she doesn't know it yet, but she's gonna donate 1,000 to Next Gen, 1,000 to homeless, and 1,000 to youth sports. Thank you.
Thank you again, Fullerton Collaborative, for this opportunity. My name is Hernandez, and I'm running for the seat because I want to be the voice for my neighbors. I've served our community on many different levels diligently, representing my neighbors' concerns in our city commissions and community organizations. Simply put, I am the most experienced and prepared candidate in this race. I've lived in this district almost my entire life, have owned a business, been involved in local community organizations, and been working and serving District 3, my neighbors, and our issues for more than a decade. I've been working on these issues of fixing our aging infrastructure, streets, sidewalks, and parks. I've led on the creation of a water assistance fund where working families can get help in paying their water bills, and in the creation of an equitable water rate throughout the city. I currently serve as vice chair of our planning commission. I've been addressing issues around housing and development for a very long time. Thank you, and please vote for me, arnaldino.com.
I have poured my heart and soul into serving our community for the last 4 years. You have all seen me. I have been there with you in the trenches at the times when our community needed it the most. I was delivering food in my own car to people who couldn't come out to the food drives that we were doing during that time. And I will continue to be the strongest voice and advocate for our community and for the most disadvantaged folks in our neighborhoods. That is my promise. It was my promise 4 years ago, and I walked the walk with you, and I will continue doing that moving forward. Thank you. Oh, amadzara.com.
Thank you, everybody. Let's put our hands together for all of the candidates. Just as I explained, we had our new city manager out at our last meeting. Please don't lose sight of this group. You know, I feel like sometimes our city lose sight of this amazing resource of experts and professionals that are doing the hard work in your city. And we're here for you, we're here to support you, and we're here to develop solutions with you. So please don't forget that the Fullerton Collaborative is here every month on Mondays.
Second Monday. And also just a highlight, look at your membership. If you want to join this collaborative, we would love to have you both as an organization, as an individual. That QR code is there. And then finally, I just want to do a shout out. There are 2 youth that came today, and the future of our city. Thank you for taking the time and just listening to the
These monthly meetings are open to the public, so please bring more people next time. We want to open our doors to as many people as possible. Thank you for your time. We're here for you. We do have Dr. Shana Charles. She will be here within the next 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be here. We have this room until 4, so if you wanted to talk to her, stick around. She did have to teach today and wasn't able to make it. So we have this room till 4, so please mix and mingle and take this opportunity. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.